Okay, we're getting started right now. Let me just get everything lined up here. So we are going to start here. So let me just make sure I got OBS set up right, because this is the first time I haven't really live streamed in quite some time, so uh, just bear with me as I make sure everything is straight. And let's get moving on this whole thing. So, right. Okay, it looks like things are set up properly, so let's get rolling. Well, all right, so as I said, wait, I'm getting my sound echo in, my bad. Okay, so I haven't live streamed in a minute, and I wanted to get some practice doing it before I ventured off into some larger, more complex solutions. So I figured I'd start with something I'm familiar with, which is Ionic Framework, PocketBase. I've done a couple of videos on, and Nuxt. And so this is PocketBase. Please check out the two other videos I posted where I go into more detail about PocketBase and setting it up and integrating it. Nuxt Ionic, if you're not familiar with it, it makes it extremely easy to integrate Ionic Framework into your Nuxt project. And then, of course, Nuxt, which as I tweeted earlier, I think I always go back and forth on Nuxt and Vue. And when starting out a project, should I start it with Nuxt or should I just start it with plain old Vue? I love the developer experience in Nuxt. I like the like working without a router, without having to set up my router and everything. I like just the way they have composable set up. I like the middleware. I mean, I like the auto import. I just think it just makes it a lot easier to code. But then again, like I said, I wonder if I'm bringing on too much weight just to get a small project started. But let's get started with this project. So first, let's initialize my app. Let me see if I can find a terminal somewhere on my computer. Oh, hold on. I think I'm supposed to have something else open here. Okay. Yeah. All right. So let's get this terminal open. And we will just create a new directory. Since I'm not really set up for the make mdr and cd live, and then we'll go over here and we'll just copy this to get started as my next project. You can call it my app, it doesn't really matter much. Yes, cd my app, npm install, get the basics there. And then the next thing is, oh, lovely, my neighbor decided he's going to cut the lawn. Hopefully this noise is not that loud for y'all. Jesus. All right. Let's try and power through since I already got started here. So now we have our Nuxt. So let's open up Visual Studio Code. And we will, let's close this back window. Come on. Let's try to get this laid out properly. And then let's close this, close this. Let's open up I like to use a terminal window inside of here. So let's now start this thing. And I forget from popping back and forth, what's this one? All right, it's npm window. All right, so we have it running on 3000. Let's copy that. Oh my goodness, now I got a helicopter flying over. I got everything going on. All right, so now we have Nuxt running, so let's move on to the next one. And it's about getting Ionic integrated into Nuxt and getting started. NPM, we'll just go this route. Let's open up another terminal window. Install Ionic in Nuxt. We're just going to follow the directions they got here. So then this is next to, we need to modify our Nuxt configuration. Let this finish. Look at this thing. I really just needed to get it out of the way. It was just kind of annoying sitting there. Well, I guess we're going to have to live with it for now. All right, so now let's modify the configuration file. And since we have nothing else in here, we can just kind of replace this whole thing for now. And then we basically have Nuxt Ionic in. Now, one of the things, we're not going to go into Capacitor right now. We just want to use the user interface components that we get with Ionic. So let's hop back. Where did my app go? Let's hop back to my app. We are going to remove this Nuxt welcome. And then we're going to follow the instructions. So I might do some more interesting things with the UI. So we're going to come into the App.js. App.vue. Where did I talk about the App.vue? I know what I'm supposed to do, but I just want to make sure that I'm following directions. I like to just follow directions to make it clearer to people. Okay. What I did, if they missed it, sorry, I'm hopping around between different views now. Where the hell is this? There's a way you set up your template. So, and I just saw it. Enable capacitor views. Where is it? Oh yeah. Remove your app view or replace it with a custom one with starting with this template. I don't think this is, yeah. So just put this in and it will give us the views we want. And so the interesting thing about this, which I noticed, is if I go and create my pages folder and let's create a home page. And so now in here, I'm supposed to get all of the Ionic, templates, auto import of all the Ionic stuff. And if I drop it in here, and so see how I'm getting all the Ionic components here for me. So let's just do this one first. I know because I work with Ionic a lot that you have to have everything in a page. So it's Ion page. And there goes another helicopter. I hope nothing crazy is happening. I live in Washington, D.C., and so when helicopters go flying around, you start to worry a bit. But everything would start with an Ionic page. Then you Ion header. Ion toolbar. TOL. And then inside of toolbar, Ion title. And then after the header is your Ion content. And then you put whatever you want in here. We'll just start with the button Ion. GLO. And Let's format this, and then let's go back and look at our page and see what we. All right, I have a V error. Why pages home? That is correct. Template. Oh, let me put my script in here. All right, and so it needs to find an index page. So the way that we can resolve that is we can just define an alias for that. Hold on, I have some notes and for snippets that I know I'm going to need, so I don't have to keep remember them. Sorry, to remember them by default. So where did that define page meta? Yeah, here it is. It's define page meta. So define page meta, and then alias is one of them. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to define this as our home page or our index page because it's saying it can't find it. And so now we have our home page, we have our Ionic components in there, and we're running. One of the biggest things, if you've ever done this in Vue, just I would have had to like manually import all those, and it's just kind of annoying. But also, I would have had to set up my router, which I didn't have to do, and everything's just kind of working, which is awesome. We're going to go with TypeScript, even though I did kind of mention that this morning about people asking me why do I do things in TypeScript. Lang, what is it complaining about? There is only one A. Lang. Oh. All right. So Lang TypeScript, and looks like we're good to go. So this guy keeps cutting the lawn and it's annoying me. But we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna try and power through it. All right, so I said I wanted to show Nuxt, I said I wanted to show Ionic, and I said I wanted to show PocketBase. So next is PocketBase. So I Googled around to figure out how to do this, and luckily inside of the PocketBase documentation, they explain how to integrate Nuxt 3 right here. And they say one way to integrate it is by creating a plugin. And luckily, Nuxt creating a plugin is pretty straightforward. You create your plugin directory, INS plugins. And let's move this to the top level. And then in here, you just create your plugin. And it's this code. So I'm not going to get too fancy with it. I'm just going to cut and paste their code. That's not plugin, it's called PocketBase. Am I using TypeScript here or JavaScript? Well, we'll find that in a minute. And we'll take their code, let's copy it, paste it in here, and we're good to go. Let me install PocketBase. How do I know there's a way to cancel this damn thing when it's running, but let's skip that for now. Where's my terminal window? Open up my terminal again, and npm install npm install PocketBase. Okay, so now we have PocketBase installed, and here's a plugin. Save. Do I need to restart this since I added a new plugin? Okay, All right, so PocketBase installed, and we're getting these property token is not existent type string. So let's go up here and let's put some TypeScript in here and say that this cookie has a token, it's a string, and model. Right now, I'll just say any, but this is a pocket. I think PocketBase has a type for that. Let me see. I'll figure that out later. So we have our PocketBase plugin. And so basically what this is doing is creating an instance of PocketBase, which I will have access to, which I am exporting right here. So I should be able to get it off of the Nuxt app object, which I'll show in a little bit. And then it's setting up my cookie for me on auth state changes. It'll update the cookie with the information that it's getting back. One thing that I did notice, because I've played with this a few times, is that adding this immediate trigger. So this fire immediately, you can set the fire immediately on your tree in order to invoke to provide a callback right after registration, which we do want to do because we want to immediately know when the auth state changes. So I'm going to set this to true. And so, and then now what you will see is I haven't created my PocketBase project. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put PocketBase right inside the same folder. And the lawnmower guy decides to cut my lawn while I'm in the middle of a live stream. So we will come down here. I've already installed PocketBase because I've done a couple of videos on it already, and it is, where is it? It is in my downloads directory. PocketBase is literally just one file. It's pretty awesome. But for those, you can watch the video, but quickly, if you come here and you look at, where is it, documentation, getting started, you just need to download. You download the one you need. I've already downloaded. I'm running it on one Mac, so I downloaded the ARM version. And then it literally is just this directory. That's all you get. So I'm going to just drop this PocketBase directory inside of here. And I want to copy the folder. And then once PocketBase is copied in here, you just need to execute the file. So let's go to my terminal window here, cd pocket, and the command is PocketBase serve. And this is the route that I'm using for my API. It's running on 8090. So that's right there. And then this link is to the admin UI. Here's my admin UI. You need to create your initial user for it. So, I mean, thanks the folks who are watching now. Please, let me know in the chat if you can still hear me clearly with the lawnmower going on out there. That'd be very helpful. Thanks. And if not, I'll try to speak a little louder or something. So to create my first user, I'll just use my own email, Aaron, and I'll just use password 123 and tab password 123. I created my initial user. Okay, so we've just installed PocketBase. We opened up, we created our initial user. Now let's go in here. Just like I said, I have another video on this, but I just want to go over it briefly. Awesome UI that you get here. Great, great integration of the documentation by just clicking up there in the top corner. You can see all the functionality that you have available to you. And it's a pretty neat, clean user interface. Depending upon how well the other videos I posted on PocketBase go, it'll determine how much deeper I go into it. But what we're going to focus on now is just the creation of users. Right now, we only have one admin user, but I will add additional. What we're going to do here is just create the ability to create users and log in. And then, as I say, integrate with Ionic, because where's my Ionic? So here's my app with the Ionic stuff. So we have the plugin set up. We have PocketBase running. Let's check and see, did I get my cookie from my plugin? So I can go to my tools and if I find my app and look in my cookies, let's see. What didn't I do right? Oh, I have to actually, so plugin cookies, all stores valid. Let's check and see if we actually have PocketBase installed properly. So what we'll do is we'll go to my home page, and inside of my script, we'll just say const PocketBase. We'll just call it PB equals use Nuxt app. And so there's my PocketBase object, and use PB. What do I want to do now that I have my PocketBase seat? Hold on. Well, let's test one of our API calls. So let's go back to my doc. Where was I in my doc? Where are my users? API view. Oh, we can just check the auth store. Auth store. Actually, let's just console log it out. This will let me know if it's set up properly. And let's go back here to my app. And run it, and then let's look and see what I have in my console. There's my console. And so I have it is valid, false, model, nothing, token, nothing, because there's nobody logged in. So let's just do a quick login to show how that might work. And we'll leverage this. Let's create a login page. So we'll copy this page, rename login view. I don't need to put that there, but I just do it out of habit. Login, and let's open up the app so we can see what's going on as I start to make the modifications. So let's shrink this, and let's switch this to our login page. Login. All right, so we're on our login page, and now let's clean this up a bit. And so this will be login. And let's go into our Ion content. And the basic pattern is the same if you're familiar with the Ionic components. You wrap your input elements in items. So it's Ion item, And then if you want to label, it's Ion label and email. And then underneath that, you have your Ion input. And we say type equals email. Come on, type email. Name is email. Placeholder. So that's our email. Let's put some padding on here. Ion padding. Oh, that's one change you need to make to configuration for the Nuxt configuration. So what happens is, just I can explain what's going on here. There's some utility classes that you get access to with Ionic Framework that's not installed by default with the Nuxt config. But what you can do is you can go down here, and is it Ionic? Hold on. Let me remember what that is. Yes, it's Ionic. I don't know why I'm not getting my types right. Oh, there it is, Ionic. And what we want is for CSS. So we want to say CSS, and then in here you have the different things. I think basic and core are there by default, and utilities isn't. So I need to say utilities true. And then now I got you see how the class that I added on my login page, this Ion padding class, is now there. All right, so then let's add the rest of our login stuff so we can add, integrate PocketBase, which is what we're here for. So let's copy this Ionic, this item for email. Let's create the one for password. So we've added the password. Let's change this type, password, and we'll just go copy password, enter password. Okay, and if we go back and we look at the users, authentication is done auth with password like this. So we just copy this call. We will come down here, const do login, and we're going to make this call. Let's wrap it in a try catch. That's our error. We'll just take this, move that from there. We need to get our form elements or our values from here. There's a couple of ways you can do this. You can listen to change events. You can do vModel, or if you just wrap this whole thing in a form, you can just pull them off of form elements. So you can just say form. Actually, let's not do that. Let's just do it as ref. No, let's do vModel. Email. And go down here and say password. And then what we can do is let's create those refs. We can say const email password equals ref, and let's import ref from Vue. And then we should be able to pass email value and password value. And so I don't like the way this is formatting. Format with, let's change it to prettier. See, okay, so we make this, did I lose something? Yes, I did, I lost email. So, sorry. Auth, email value, password value, and then close this out. Password, email. Okay. We get our response. Let's console log that out. Console log auth data to see if we get back, and then let's handle our error. Do what is going on? That doesn't belong. That doesn't belong. Let's make this async. And on error, just so that we can show some more the integration of Ionic, and what a nice clean UI you get. Let's display a pretty little alert dialog when you get an error. So not that. Let's copy this. And so like this was the interesting thing that I found. This alert controller, I don't know why it's not automatically imported. We can do a quick fix and kind of pull it in like this, but I thought that it should have been automatically imported. So not sure why that is happening. Maybe I'll open up a ticket, but we still can import it. And so what that does is this will give us a nice styled alert dialog that should appear based on fail to reload. Based on your platform. So now what we'll do is we'll come down here, and if there's an error, we'll say do alert, and it looks for a header, and we'll say error logging in, and then it needs a message, and we'll take the message. So we'll say error, and we should get a message. Save, format, and let's add our do login on our button. Did I call it log on? What is it? Oh, I meant log in. Change it to log in. And let's see. So, bad request. Why did it say bad request? Something went wrong with your request. Let's see. I have the right API. Installed it 271.80.90. Okay, let's check my plugin. 270.80.90. Okay, that looks right. Let me create a user to log in with to make sure that I have set this up properly. So let's just manually create a user. I'll leave blank, email, aron1@mail.com, and we'll say password, and we'll set a name, Aaron+1. We'll create that user, and now let's try and log in that user. Go back to my app. Failure to authenticate. Why am I getting, whoa, why am I getting that error? The PocketBase is running. I'm hitting the right path. I know. Did I miss something in my configuration? That's right. My Nuxt config. You shouldn't have to set anything inside of here. It should just pick up, here's my plugin. It should just pick up the plugin from here and run it. Unchanged, that sets it. This all looks right. So let's see if I can get any more information out of here. Failed to authenticate. What did I say? Did I say BASWRD1? Failed to authenticate. All right, let's go back again and see. Oh, it's Aaron1, not Aaron+1. Aaron1@mail.com. And then I think my password is just password. All right, and I didn't get an error, which means I probably logged in. I need to fix the UI in that, but let's take a look at, one way that I can tell is if I look at my application and I come back down here. Why is my cookie not visible? Hold on. That doesn't make sense. All right, let's do this. Let's track. So I have my auth change here. When my auth change gets set, it should get triggered and we'll console log. What happens on this auth store change, you get your token passed in. So we'll get our token right there and we'll set it as a value. So we'll say token. And we'll just dump it. And then now let's look at our console. And I have no token. So let's try and log in again. Aaron1@mail.com. Password. So you can see I successfully logged in. There's my token. And let's look at my application. I'm not certain why I don't understand why I don't have my cookie there. it's putting it in local storage, but it's not. It's supposed to be creating a cookie for me also. What did I do differently? Let's see, PocketBase, same site, strict. This looks like I followed the directions appropriately, but let me just double check. So let's see. Uh, hmm. So the preview its value. This, I don't think that this is supposed to be here inside of in local storage. It's supposed to be a cookie because the whole idea is that um, it should also work on the server. I might have to look into that later because this is getting a little bit long and I want to just kind of get through the integration with y'all. So we know the user's authenticated, but what we want to do is we want to kind of protect the routes like you normally see. So the next step, honestly, is to add our middleware. And that belongs at the top level. Move it. And in our middleware, we'll create, your auth.ts. And then inside of our auth.ts, let me get the default structure for middleware. So this is our middleware, and basically what we're saying is we're once again going to get our PocketBase client. We're going to check if we have a valid auth store. Actually, I don't need that line there at all, so I'm doing it right here. So if I don't have a valid object in my auth store and my path is not login, then I need to navigate to login. Otherwise, just show us the path. So what should happen now is we next need to go into our pages and we need to tell our pages to actually use the middleware. So here underneath define meta, you can also say middleware, and we're going to say auth. So we want all of our pages to use it. Let's go put our page meta in my home page, which is really where it's more important. Let's say auth, middleware auth. And now when I go to my home page, it's saying that it doesn't have an authenticated user, and so it's taking me to my login page. And so let's try logging in. Nux, I want to redirect after my login. So let me go switch my login and say if there's no error, then, and since we're using Ionic, you want to use the Ion router. So we say const router equals use Ion router. And then down here, we're going to say router replace with, where do you want to go? Home. Now, I think that there was an issue with importing Ionic Router that I ran into last time when I was playing with this. So I'm just going to confirm. And so I'm just going to use navigate to for now. And that should get us what we want. Okay. So let's try this again. And we say error.net mail, login. And what is my error? All right, yeah, this was complaining about this use Ion router, so that's why let's remove that. And let's try again. And it redirected me to my page, to my home page, and this is the part that's throwing me off, because on the refresh, see, I'm losing my token. That's why I know that there's something not right here. I don't know. I think I might have configured something wrong. I'll probably have to do a follow-up and explain what I missed. But what should be happening is that cookie should be saved. So on refresh, my token should not be empty. Let me look at find the plugin, make sure all my code is set up right. I might have to do a follow-up video to kind of explain what this mistake is here. But let me get completely through the login and log out, and then, like I said, maybe I'll do a follow-up to explain it. So what we want to do is we want to show on the home view, we have all this information in the auth store. Let's just, instead of console logging, so let's log in again. See, we're getting our whole auth store, and inside we know our user is valid, we have our model, we have our token, and in the model we get the information on the user. So you can see we have the email and the user's name. So let's do this. So we'll just say user equal to this auth store dot model, and then up here we can say hello user dot name. What was it in the database? It's, yes, user dot name, and then, oh, that should not be a button. This should just be, let's call it H2. And so I just have my name. Oh, sorry. Let's do class. Let me try just restarting my server completely. Let's go back to my terminal. Okay, so warmed up. We didn't get any tokens. Let's put this back and password. Logged in, we get the name, we get the token there, but the refresh, yeah, I got to figure out this damn cookie issue. And let's do the last thing. Let's just insert the logout on this last page. But the other part is here's how we know our auth middleware is working, because if I try to go to home, it won't let me go to home. It reroutes me back here because it doesn't have a authenticated user. But let's just do the logout, and we'll go to login, and we'll just copy this and go to our home view and come down here and say do logout. You don't need any of this stuff, because to log out, all you do is you clear the auth store. Auth store.clear, and that logs you out. And then I'll dump the auth data so you can see it's cleared, and then here we'll just navigate back to login. And yeah, let's bring the do alert over. Do alert probably should be moved to a library or service, but for now let's just move it over. Auto import alert controller. And looks like that auto import didn't work. So let's go down here, import from Ionic Vue alert controller. And let's add our logout button. So login, users logged in, log out, gone, tokens gone, and then also on the home view, there's no data because I just cleared everything out. So it's been almost an hour now. Unfortunately, maybe I have a few minutes left. Maybe I will see, like, why am I not getting this cookie persisted? Well, let's look here again. Say define plugin async. Like I did all of, where's my PocketBase plugin? And let me look at my test code that I wrote also. And it looks pretty straightforward. PocketBase define plugin, use cookie. Path, secure is true, same site strict, HTTP only is false. The max age, load the cookie, PB auth store, save the cookie. Do I have any other instances of PocketBase running? No. Hmm. Send back the PB auth cookie to the client with the latest store state. I mean, that's the catch right there. Let me try restarting PocketBase. And see what we get. So I come back here and restart PocketBase. The catch is that, like I said, there should be a cookie that's not getting dumped. Like, this is going to bug me now until I can figure out exactly what is going on. All right, I'm gonna wrap it here, and when I figure out the solution, I will let you guys know. I'll probably put a link to a blog post that I write. But I covered what I wanted to cover. Integrating Ionic Framework with Nuxt, the basics of PocketBase, and like I said, you can follow along with my other videos that I have on this topic. Let me switch to my channel. I have this initial one, PocketBase 1, which just goes over the basic authentication user. And then in PocketBase 2, I kind of refactored all the code from a single page application to multiple pages with routes. And then I also introduced reset password. We're at 55 minutes. Thanks for the folks who came through. Like I said, I'll provide some documentation on why this isn't saving my cookie. And we'll see you guys later. Thanks.